All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Right, first and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem HaMashiach, Wamadak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which the world calls God. And Yahushua is the name of his only begotten Son, which the world only calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, want to give a strong Shalom to all the mighty men. They're going out there, they're laboring. Right, they're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. They're doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only that, these men are going out there in 100-degree weathers, freezing below codes, and doing everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. Want to give another strong shalom to the Akwath, right? The sisters that are at home, right? They're reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things, and the unmarried sisters as well, being tender, delicate, and on fire for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Shalom, shalom. Want to give another strong shalom, right, to all the mighty teenagers and children in this truth, right, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in these last days, right? Shalom to everybody that's tuning in to the live stream, right? Shalom Williams, to Puak, all right, and everybody that will tune in, most high willing, right? And the topic of this cold cut is titled, right, 7 weeks till Passover, right? Things you must be aware of. All right. 7 weeks to Passover, things you must be aware of. So Passover is right around the corner, right? The Most High is speeding up the times, and we are approximately 7 weeks away. It's things leading up to the Passover that's happening on a spiritual level. It's things you want to get prepared physically. It's a lot of things that you want to look for and pay attention leading up to the Passover, so you're not caught up out there unawares. Like we said, it's a lot of spiritual activity going on. Demons on the uprising, different spirits trying to attack you. All right, you might have to get things in order physically, financial wise, whatever congregation that you keeping it with, right? So we got certain things written down. We're gonna be going over points and things you need to be aware of while the Passover is right around the corner. All right. Now, first and foremost, let me get the book of Proverbs. Let me kick it off with Proverbs chapter 22. Because you want to make sure that you're prudent, right? Somebody that's not prudent is somebody that's not watching, meaning they're not paying attention. Like a fool. A fool, guess what? A fool is not aware of what's going on around him. He's caught up in the moment. He's focused on how he feels right now, what's going on. You want to make sure that you're prudent, meaning you foresee things possibly before they could happen. And that's a gift on the spiritual level, right? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse number 3, right? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and 3. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So a prudent man, a wise man, he's going to foresee evil before it happens, and he's going to try to do things to hide himself or prevent the evil from coming to him. Guess what? A fool is going to pass on. A fool is going to have that, well, I'm just going with the flow spirit. You don't want to be just going with the flow, man. Anything can happen at any given time. You could get attacked physically. You could at an instant, at a moment, you could be under spiritual attack. You want to make sure that you're vigilant and you watching from all angles. Right, let me get Sirach chapter 18. Right, let's go to Sirach chapter 18 and verse number 27. Only a fool would just go with the flow. All right, it's the book of Sirach chapter 18 and verse number 27. Right, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 18 and 27. A wise man will fear in everything, and in the day of sinning, he will beware of offense. So a wise man is going to beware of the things going on around him. He's going to be aware of the times, what's going on, how to prepare for certain things. Did I do this right? I think I messed up on this. Let me fix this real quick. Let me call the brother up and see if I'm on the right track. He's going to be aware of all things. It says, but a fool would not observe time. Meaning the fool is going to pass on. He's going to be simple, not aware of the times. like caught up in this in foolishness, sports, damn vanity, the cares of this world, and things is gonna go over his head. So you want to make sure our brothers and sisters are on the right track leading up to the Passover. All right. So again, these are things you want to be aware of approaching the Lord's Passover. Right. Let's go to Malachi chapter 2. And the first thing you want to be aware of is your spirit. Because on the Lord's Passover, guess what? You're dealing with the body of Yahweh. You're dealing with the body of your Lord and Savior. You don't want to come in and your spirit is just totally off. You have envy all inside of you, wickedness, murder, hate, and you dealing with the body of the Lord. And guess what? The Most High could jam you up. So first and foremost, you want to be aware of your spirit, because if your spirit is not right, guess what? That's going to dictate you in the future, after the Passover, how you operate. A lot of times we pay attention to so many things. Oh, what's going on over here? Okay, I got to get this done, this, that, and third. But how are you spiritually? You might need a spiritual checkup, man. You got to check up, examine yourself every other week spiritually to see how you doing. Because your spiritual health is what's far more important, especially dealing with the body of Yahweh. Let's go to the book of Malachi, chapter 2. Right? Let's go to the book of Malachi, the second chapter. Right? It's the book of Malachi, chapter 2, and verse number 15. Right? It says, and did not he make one? Yet he had the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed. Now, this is going into the Jews that was going off with their wives and dealing with their wives, mistreating them during the time of Malachi. It says, therefore, take heed to your spirit. And that's what you got to do. You have to take heed to your spirit. Is your spirit growing? Are you actually sincere? A lot of people, they're not sincere. There's people in the world, they're chasing a sincere spirit. They're chasing to be genuine. There's certain people in the world, guess what? No matter what they do, how they act, it's something in their spirit. They could just not be sincere. There's no way they could be sincere. No matter how hard they try, they might do this, that. They can never be sincere. When you have brothers and sisters that are in the truth that can naturally be sincere, you have to make sure your spirit is sincere. Is it natural? Because if you forcing, you doing this, that, and the third, you moving like this, and it's being forced, that means you naturally is not sincere. You have to work on that. But if you could be sincere and genuine naturally, that's a gift and a blessing of the Most High God. That's a part of a good spirit, right? The Most High is not looking on your outer appearance. Let's go to Psalms, right? Chapter 51. So you have to take heed to your spirit. Does your spirit have hate in it? Do you have secret sins? Do you have wickedness, slothfulness going on? How is your mental health? All of these things you must consider before you walk through that door. Right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 51. Right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 51. And verse number 6. It says, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts. So the Most High desires truth in the inward parts. The Most High, he cares about your spirit. Let's hold this. I want to grab a precept to link up with this in the classic 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter. Right? A lot of people, they focus on the outer appearance, how good they look, the type of clothes they have on outwardly. All right, it's their beard shaped up. They focus so much on the outer, but it's about your inward. Because that's exactly who you are. That's what matters at the end of the day. This flesh is gonna corrupt. How are you in the spirit? You have certain men, they look past the flesh because they're so on a high spiritual level. They look straight past the And they looking directly at your spirit, and they could tell whether you sincere, whether you're righteous, or whether you wicked, whether you sincere and genuine or not. How much more for Yahweh Shai, which could read and hear people's thoughts. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16. Right? And verse number 7. I'm going to start at verse 6. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Because Samuel thought David's elder brother, that was the anointed. Right? Verse 7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. So the Lord is always looking on the heart. He's desiring truth in the inward parts. He's looking at a contrite and sincere spirit, while man is looking on the outward part. So again, you have to make sure your inward is clean. The way you clean up inwardly is by fasting. A lot of people, you don't fast. Fasting is very important. That has to be incorporated weekly. Praying consistently. You have to make sure that you're praying every single day. You have to make sure in these troublous times, especially you chosen ones that have a higher calling, you have to make sure you're renewing your mind every day. Because if not, that leaks, creeps and cracks for where the devil could creep in. All of these things is helping your spirit get cleaner. And by doing that, you're now what? You're taking heed to your spirit. Versus having a free spirit and just not, you got to protect. I mean, this is your spirit is your house. The inside of your house. On a physical level, you wouldn't just let anybody come in your house. Just walk through, kick down the door. You're going to be on defense mode. You may have a firearm. All right. You may have a machete. It's the same thing with your spirit. You can't just let anybody come in or any spirit enter into your vessel. You have to protect that. Keep that with sanctification. Right, let's get that real fast. I know we said we're going to go back to Psalms. Right, let me get this in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Right, it's the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse number 4. It says that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel and sanctification and honor. Right, you have to have some type of sanctification and honor with your spirit. Right, have some self-respect for your spirit, man. Don't let your spirit be blown back and forth with the wind. As people in the world, they don't have no type of honor for their spirit. They inviting this spirit in, and they around this person, which is inviting more spirits. Then they doing this wicked act, which is inviting more spirits. But us being the children of the light, guess what? You have to make sure that your spirit is protected. Slakia. Right? You have to make sure your spirit is on fire. Now let's go back to Psalms. Right? Chapter 51. Right? Let's go back to the book of Psalms, the 51st chapter. Right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse number 6. It says, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward part, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Right? Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. All right? I'm going to jump down to verse 10. Create me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit in me. So you have to beg like David for God to renew a right spirit in you. Again, you don't want the spirit being corrupt, because the Lord could judge you. Because now you putting other people in jeopardy of an evil spirit. If it's the Passover is approaching and you're not in the correct spirit, you might put a spirit on somebody else. Now they looking at, because you're not in the right spirit, they looking at you like, oh man, this brother got a spirit on him. All right. Now you putting a spirit on them. Now they thinking wicked things in their head. They thinking, what the hell is going on with this brother? All right. Dang, man. Why can't we all just be in righteousness? I mean, there's so many things that go on. You might have children. If you have a spirit on you, guess what? Now your children, they're going to have spirits on them. Your household. All of these things play a good part. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 24. Right, let's go to Psalms, chapter 24, and verse number 3. It says, who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Or who shall stand in his holy place? He that have clean hands and a pure heart, who have not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. And you're going to know if your soul, if you've been given into vanity, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel if you've been going off, man. You're going to know if you don't have clean hands. Your hands is going to, I mean, you literally going to feel it on a spiritual level. You're going to feel that filthiness on you. You twitching. Man, I just don't feel right. I know I could be better. You having those thoughts, guess what? Now the Lord is reminding you to take heed to your spirit. Don't let the spirit be taken away from you that the Most High placed inside of you. Clean up. Right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. Right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, the first chapter. Right? You read this Isaiah, the first chapter in a different translation. Hey, this is mean, man. All right. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse number 15. It says, and when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. And when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. You have to ask yourself, are your hands full of blood? Not that you killed somebody. All right. But your hands could be full of blood, which represents sin, iniquity. All right. Are your hands full of iniquity? Again, you're going to feel it. It's going to be in your spirit. You're going to feel it physically. Man, I'm dirty. I need to clean up. Well, guess what? Now it's time to get clean. Because if not, the Lord is not hearing you. Every time you stretch out your, the Most High is not hearing your prayers. The Most High is not dealing with you if you have bloody hands, man. What happened to David? Not that David was a wicked man, but David wanted to do something for the Lord. He wanted to build the temple, build the house. Guess what? The Lord said, you can't build this because your hands have shed too much blood. Blood, too much of it, it could be bad. Not that David was sinful, but when you get so much of doing something, you lose that purity and that sincerity that you had from when you first started. Just like when a child is young, most children are innocent and sincere and genuine. But as they get to grow older and start growing up in age, now they're more accessible to being corrupted. All right. So guess what? It says your hands are full of blood. Verse 16. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings before my eyes, cease to do evil. So the Lord wants you to, whatever the hell that you're doing, you know what you're doing. Whatever it is, hey, stop it now. Cut it out. Cease to do it. Then the Lord is going to start to have mercy and favor on you. This truth requires you to cut things out, man. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter... I'm going to start at verse 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and 9. It says, I wrote unto you in an epistle, not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man is called a brother, be a fornicator, or covetous, or idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one not to eat. And this dealing with the Passover. And it's not just for these spirits that he's listening. This goes for any other spirits. A spirit of weed smoke, slothfulness, drunkard, like Paul listed, envying, which is far worse, hate, any of these things in your heart. Hey, really, a person at the Passover is not even to eat with you, because that's going to throw off the whole meal. It says, verse 12, for what have I to do to judge them that are without? Do you not judge them that are within? But them that are without God judges. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person. So on a deeper level, at the meal of the Passover, if your spirit is not right, you're not even supposed to be eating with other people on a deeper level. All right? Because that's going to throw off the whole meal. This is showing you how important it is to get your spirit right before you even walk through the door. Get it? You have 7 weeks, man, which is a number completion, which is more than enough time. You still have time. You have to use it wisely. Right, let's go to the book of Philippians, chapter 1. Right, let's go to the book of Philippians, chapter 1, and verse number 10. It says, that you may approve things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense to the day of Christ. So that sincerity and without offense, that goes a long way. Why? Because the Most High is going to look down upon that, and he's going to have favor unto you. Like we said, there's so many people in the world, they're chasing a sincere spirit that they can never obtain. They actually could if they would just repent and clean up and get their spirit together and purge their spirit. But they finding out, how do I purge? Man, they want the answers. When whole time, guess what? You have the answers right in front of you in this book. You know how to purge your spirit. You know how to get your spirit clean. They don't. That means what? That you're blessed far above many others. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and 22. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, and verse number 22. Right, this 1 Peter, chapter 1 and 22, and it reads, seeing ye have purified your souls and obeying the truth. So that's how you get your soul purified, by obedience. Obedience sounds easy, but it's one of the hardest things for man to do. The hardest thing for a man to do is not to climb up the Eiffel Tower. All right. The hardest thing for man to do is not to bend a steel, man. It's actually something simple, which is obedience, meaning follow directions. Listen to what the Lord tells you to do. If the Lord say don't do something, do not do it. If he says, I need you to get this done, fulfill his word. So you actually purify your souls by obeying the truth, meaning being obedient. And you have to prove to the Lord that you could be obedient, that you could listen, you could follow directions. The Lord say, don't do something, do not do it. Don't indulge in this, don't indulge in it. Abstain from this, guess what? Abstain from it. It sounds easy, but it's hard. It says, seeing ye have purified your souls and obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren. See that ye love one another with a pure heart fervently, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the word of God, which liveth and abideth forever. Because this is the true ticket. This is going to abide. These words is going to abide forever. Not only these words, These principles is going to abide forever. The law is going to endure forever. So why not follow this? The things of this world is temporary. The lust, the so-called rules, the game, the code, whatever it is you have, it's not eternal. And it's corruptible. And you see how corrupt it is. People don't even abide by the rules of the world. But these words are incorruptible. All right? This is the moral code. You want to be morally upright, follow this. So again, the first thing you want to be aware of is your spirit. Take heed to your spirit. Get that cleansed. Again, we're 7 weeks away. Now, the second one we have written down that you want to be aware of leading up to the Passover, it's temptation. Because more and more we approach the Passover, guess what? Temptation is going to increase. When you read the Gospels, Yahushua, as he was leading up into the Passover, the temptation started to increase more and more and more. It didn't just get easy. Oh, it's the Passover. Stuff is going to get lighter. No. Why? Because Yahushua knew he was almost done fulfilling his duty. He knew he was about to cross that finish line. So you know what else is going to happen on the spiritual level? Guess what? Things is going to get harder. Temptation is going to increase. All right? And you're going to feel it physically. And your flesh. That's how strong the temptation is. That you feel it so physically. You're like, damn, what the hell? Now you got to call upon the name of the Most High, man. All right? Hey, yesterday, through the Spirit, I got tempted. You know, I'm not going to say what it was, but I got tempted, and the temptation was so strong, I'm feeling it through my whole body. Right? Next thing you know, I just called upon the name of the Lord, and Satan flee. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, stuff is amping up. These spirits are increasing. These spirits are getting powerful and stronger day by day. And if you're not staying in the spirit, guess what? You're going to be overcome. And a lot of people think because you get tempted, that's bad. Oh, I must be wicked. No. If you're being tempted, you're actually considered valuable. Because Satan is not going to tempt somebody that's already taken and snared and entrapped. He's going to try to tempt the chosen ones. The men that have high callings. The prophets, the apostles, the evangelists. Somebody that's doing something correctly. Temptation is to try to either hold them back, stop their spiritual growth, or stop their divine purpose that the Most High has in store for them. So if you do get tempted, don't feel bad. If anything, thank the Most High because the Lord sees value inside of you. Let's go to the book. Let's go to the Gospels. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 4. Right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 4, and verse number 1. Then was Yahushua led up to the Spirit in the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. When he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward in hunger. And the tempter came to him and said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. So when you read Matthew, the 4th chapter, at the beginning of the Lord's ministry, off the bat, he's getting tempted. Satan is tempting him with food. So you read on, Satan is tempting him with the kingdoms of this world. But it doesn't stop there. This stuff is going to increase. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 16. Right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 16, and verse number 21. From that time forth began Yahushua to shew unto his disciples how that he must go forth unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and raised again the 3rd day. So now we're getting closer into the Passover. Now Yahushua is getting closer into the Passover. He's telling his disciples, hey, the time is almost close or I'm going to suffer many things of the chief priests, elders, and scribes, be killed, and rise again the third day. It says, verse 22, then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan, for thou art an offense to me. For thou savorest the things that be of God, that not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. So the temptation started to increase. Now, instead of Satan coming directly to Christ, now he's starting to hop on people that Christ loves, that's close to him. Hey, Satan might do that, man. Hop on your family members. Passover, what pass? No, you're not going. Satan might hop on your finances. Get your finances all jammed up. Now you can't make it. Right? Satan is going to use the more and we approach, he's going to amp it up. Whatever tactics that he has in store, he's going to use that against you. Now you can't tell me Yahushua didn't feel this in his flesh. He felt it. He felt it in his flesh and his spirit and said, you know what, something about what he just said, it's not right. That got to be Satan. He looked on Peter and he rebuked him. That's the spirit you got to be in. But guess what? The temptation doesn't stop here. Let's go to the book of Matthew, right? Matthew chapter 26 and verse number 39. Now this is literally the Passover night. Matthew 26 and 39. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 36. And then cometh Yahushua with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit ye here, while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. So Yahushua started to get depressed. That depression started to kick in. Now again, he's in the flesh, so he's going to feel these things in his mortal body. Depression, anxiety starting to kick in. Now Satan's starting to, Satan was probably playing with his thoughts. It says, verse 39, and he went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and said unto Peter, what, ye could not watch with me 1 hour? So the disciples fell asleep. He's asking the Father, Lord, if it be thy will, make this cup to pass. Hey, the Lord is going through it, man. It says, verse 41, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. But the one thing that Yahushua always did was made sure that he prayed to the Father. And he even prayed that he entered not into temptation. How many times you do that when you being tempted? A lot of brothers, they just sit there. They getting tempted. They sit there. They don't pray. They don't pull out their Bible. They don't rebuke themselves. And next thing you know, they start sitting there. And now Satan is actually convincing them in his mind the temptation that he's tempting them with is a right thing to do. Because this stages to temptation. Once you let them thoughts sink in, and now you convinced, oh yeah, it's over with. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Once Satan has your mind fully convinced, now your actions, your fruits is going to start to show. Now you're blinded by sin. You can't even see, you can't even think correctly, because now your judgment is perverted through whatever spirit you're being tempted with. Right, let's get that in the book of History, Susanna. Now you're blinded by sin. Now you can't even see the reward that's on the other side if you was to resist the temptation. All right. See that? Right? If my phone cuts off, it's because it's about to die after I just charged it. All right. So we're going to go live, Lord willing, again, you know, if my phone dies, that's crazy. I just charged it up. Right, it's the book of Sirach. Well, not Sirach. Let's go to the book of history, Susanna. All right. It's the book of history, Susanna, chapter 1 and verse number 9. It says, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they may not look unto heaven nor remember just judgments. Because when Satan got a hold and captive of your mind, now you can't remember the precepts. Now you're not remembering the precepts. You can't remember the accounts. Your judgment is you're not even looking at the judgment. You're not even thinking about, if you was to do whatever you got tempted with, how the Most High is about to judge you after you get done doing it. You not think, all of that goes out the window. Because Satan literally has your mind. So leading up to the Passover, you have to expect temptation to get increased. Expect things to get harder. Why? Because Satan's job is to have you not keep the commandments of the Lord, nor partake, if anything, nor partake in the feast of the Lord at all. That's his job. And he's going to do that until you either be taken away with that temptation or you overcome and you prove him wrong through the Spirit and power. Right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and 11. Right, it's the book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and verse number 11. It reads, the discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. So in the midst of the temptation, it's the glory to pass over that sin, to pass over that transgression. You have to examine the life of Yahushua. Yahushua got tempted.